So good day, everyone, and welcome to the Women in Data Science Trinidad and Tobago WiDS Datathon 2023 information session. I am Dr. Leticia Addison. I am the WiDS Trinidad and Tobago ambassador currently. And this morning, my team and I are going to give you a few guidelines in terms of the global WiDS Datathon. And aside from those guidelines, we are also going to give you an overview of what the organization is and the part that we play as the TNT chapter to be able to provide you with some of the supporting activities for the Datathon 2023. So the WiDS started as a one-day conference in 2015 to celebrate women doing outstanding work. So this was at the Stanford University, and we have built a thriving global community ever since. There is an in-person conference at Stanford on March the 8th, which is International Women's Day. And also there is a WiDS Worldwide Conference, which takes place on September 14th, and that is an online conference. So WiDS itself elevates women in data science globally. So we celebrate, inspire, educate, and support through extensive programming worldwide and regionally in terms of these various activities. So there are conferences, there is the Datathon, the Data Challenge, which we'll talk about today, podcasts, a WiDS Next Generation outreach for secondary school students, and also workshops which take place throughout the year. So the WiDS Datathon 2023 goals include the following. So we would like to inspire women worldwide to get involved in data science through social impact challenges, boost participants' skills, and of course, confidence working with data science and machine learning, of course, in a supportive and inclusive environment, help increase the percentage of women, of course, in a very male-dominated arena traditionally in terms of datathons and hackathons, which are really data challenges, support beginners and those new to data science, breaking down those barriers for women to enter the field of data science and related fields, and of course, recognize participation and achievement at multiple levels. So here are some of our values. They include community, elevating women, empowerment, collaboration, and of course, most importantly, inclusivity. Because we want to be able to include the diversity of not only just females, but of course, anyone can participate in our activities. There are certain stipulations regarding some of the aspects of the teams. However, we include anyone. We are very inclusive. So the WiDS Datathon itself is a data challenge. It is a predictive analytics challenge hosted on the Kaggle platform. And the aim is really to inspire women worldwide to hone their data science skills and to create a supportive environment for women to connect. So data scientists of all levels are invited to participate in the Datathon. And this is phase 1. There is also phase 2, which extends post-March, but we will be concentrating on the phase 1 activities. And it's always focused on a social impact challenge. So when we provide you with the actual global link for the WiDS committee, you can actually go there and see some of the past challenges. In 2022, it included building predictions for energy consumption in buildings, building those predictions for energy consumption. And previously, there was also a challenge related to diabetes and related predictions for that. So everything is always based on some level of social impact. And you can actually see that in terms of the participation, last year, there were about 50% beginners in the challenge. 79% of them were female, 46% had no prior experience, and 71% of them actually said that they had gained new skills being a part of the challenge. So it's hosted on Kaggle.com, as I mentioned before. And when I do introduce the team, I'll have our mentor liaison, Shannon Ray. She will actually explain to you what it entails in terms of the aspect of the actual challenge itself, but to let you know some pointers to start with. The participants could be absolute beginners, students, faculty, government workers, members of NGOs, industry members. We welcome all persons. And of course, they can be male or female. However, the stipulation is that for the teams, if you are forming a team, you have up to 4 persons and half the team must identify as females. And of course, the overall winning team, when we do let you know about the actual challenge itself, it will be determined by what we call the Kaggle leaderboard. So for those of you who are new to Kaggle, you can actually go on there and sign up. It's free. And then you can see other competitions, including this one. And we will actually walk you through the steps of what it entails in terms of actually entering a competition on Kaggle. So that's part of what we will do in our training. And there will be global prizes, regional prizes, and others. There are a lot of cash prizes. Currently, the global prize, the first prize, is around 6,000 US for the winning team. And then there are other prizes, about the top 5 prizes. So we will show you the website so you can see the global prizes. There are also team prizes for undergraduate students. And of course, in addition to the global prizes, our chapter will actually be offering some local prizes. So for participants, as you continue with us in the process, we will actually alert you about those prizes. You will get certificates and other types of awards. So just to give you a brief overview of the climate change challenge, which is the 2023 theme, it is adapting to climate change by improving extreme weather forecasts. So it will focus on long-term weather forecasting. And the goal is really to help communities to adapt to extreme weather events caused by climate change. So this was in collaboration with Climate Change AI. And of course, there are some official forecasts from the NOAA agency in the US. So teams will be competing with each other to see how well they can predict. And of course, this is the actual link, widsconference.org/datathon, where you could get more details concerning the challenge, the prizes, sponsors, etc. Now, in terms of the actual datathon and the data challenge, the goal in terms of the global workshops and events, we really want to bring that WiDS spirit in terms of the datathon to communities. It's free of charge, and we will be providing resources and skills to participants. So these are data science building skills, modeling tutorials and videos, access to mentors, workshops, and other events. And as I mentioned before, you have the cash prizes, but you also have the ability to be in a team building type of environment, which would be great for your resume and CV portfolio. For those of you who are undergraduate students, this is really important. And of course, you have the ability to connect with others for a good cause. So that brings me to talk about the actual Trinidad and Tobago chapter and what we are trying to achieve currently. We have a call for participation in various aspects, participants, mentors, speakers, and just general public who just interested in data science and what exactly it is. So if you are interested in these things, we can move forward and give you an overview of what we can provide for you, because we really want at the end of the day to support women in data science globally. So who are we? We are an independent, well, we organize independent events through the WiDS ambassador and also the organizing committee in collaboration with Stanford University. And here is our team. I believe we have a few of them today in this session. I'm just scanning my chat to see who is here. So I'm just going to introduce you by name. Of course, I'll leave myself for last and I will tell you a little bit about myself. But we can start off with, so we have Mercedes, Zia, Jamie, Shannon Ray, Rihanna, Shankar, Adideb. That's our starting team. We are looking to build our team of mentors. So we are hoping some of you would want to come on as mentors and actually assist our students, those of you who have, and we'll give you some guidelines on the background. So I will let Shannon Ray take the floor. She's our mentor liaison. In a little bit, she will give you all some guidelines. So Shannon Ray, could you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do currently, how you got into data science, just a few lines?
Okay, good morning, everyone. As Dr. Anderson said, I'm Shannon Ree. I have a background in chemical engineering as well as energy engineering. And when I was doing my master's thesis, I did it on applications of data science in renewable energy. So that was how I came to start working in data science. And now I'm currently doing an internship based on customer segmentation. So that's my background in data science.
Excellent. And let's move to Mercedes. She's one of our mentors.
Hi, morning everyone. My name is Mercedes and I work in education research. I actually work with education data coming out of SE, CTEC, and CAPE. And that is what inspired my interest in data science. And I'm currently a student of the MSc in data science program.
Excellent. Thanks, Mercedes. Next person. Well, I would like you all to know, as I said, we are a very inclusive group. So we do have male mentors, and one of them, one of our head mentors is Shankar. Shankar, would you like to give them a little bit of overview of your background?
Hi, morning everyone. So yeah, I'm a final year student in electrical and computer engineering, and I dabbled in data science for 2-3 years now. My final year project was in change point detection for fault location, and since then I've collaborated on a few projects and one publication that deals heavily with time series analysis and renewable energy. Sorry, EVs, yeah, renewables.
Electric vehicles.
Yeah, my apologies.
Yes, great, Shankar. And I also had the pleasure of working with Shankar as well in terms of some of those publications. So he's, I would let you all know this is a very esteemed team. I'm very proud of this team. A lot of them also work with the TT Lab. I don't know if some of you know about TT Lab. That's a really a great, very diverse data science group headed by Professor Hussain, who is also from the University of the West Indies. And he is heavily involved in data science projects and internships as well. So really happy to have them on board. Some of the persons aren't here today, but our last but not least, I know we have our task manager here, Rihanna. Rihanna is really managing a lot of the communications with the mentors. So Rihanna, you want to give them a little bit of your background as well?
Hi everyone. So I'm Rihanna Kanhai. My background is mainly in mechanical engineering, but I am also involved in a lot of data projects, and projects where the main issue is for our women in science. So that's the most important thing. That's it from me.
And as you can see, as I said, everyone, it comes from different backgrounds, and we would like to build capacity to have persons not only from the science or the STEM fields. I know a few people who are also in the social sciences, and we'd like to kind of break it out into the STEAM fields and have people realize that data science could be integrated into other areas as well. So this is our team for now, and we are a growing group, and we would like to have some of you come on board and assist us in the process. So to continue, what are we providing as the WiDS Trinidad and Tobago team? So part of our official duties would be to provide workshops and regional events in collaboration with other ambassadors worldwide. So these activities would actually be internationally shown on their YouTube pages, websites, and built in a repository of resources. So it's really great that we are putting ourselves on a map in this way currently. And we are happy to support any process with training sessions. So of course the mentors, and I've stipulated it's suitable for beginners. So you know that if you're absolute beginner, that's fine. It's going to be very beginner friendly. And of course we have these tutorial sessions in January. So we'll let you all know about the schedule in a little bit and office hour sessions for you all to be able to relate to the mentors. Before I go on, I would just like persons to know, I know this is a frequently asked question, even though we are the Trinidad and Tobago group, we are open to teammates and mentors from anywhere in the world. I participated last year on in the competition as well on a team, and one of our team members was from India. So we are also open to regional members, regional mentors, etc. The schedule itself for our internal tutorials that will start next week, Saturday, would be provided in our Slack channel. So at the end of the chat today, we will actually send you all some of you would have actually been on our mailing list already. For those of you who are not on the mailing list, feel free, we'll sign you up with the link. And then we will actually provide you with information via our Slack channel. Now, these are our internal events as a community. In terms of our regional events and workshops, these are going to take place between February and March. So you're going to see some webinars and also what we call regional events in terms of spotlight talks on a technical presentation. And then we'll have a more relaxed sort of panel discussion, fireside chat. All of these featuring women in various fields related to data science from various parts of the world. So it's going to be really exciting. All of these events are free and they will be available for you to see on our website. So you can visit widstt.org for more information on the events as they go along, and you can begin to register for these separate events as you so desire. So I'm just rounding off my section here so we can just jump into showing you some of the aspects of the challenge. So these 4 steps you should bear in mind would be, you can view the WiDS challenge. It's currently live on Kaggle. And of course, Rihanna will put the link for our widstt.org website in the chat so you all can view our activities. You have to register for the challenge officially with the WiDS organization, which is the global organization. We will also walk you through those steps as you go along. So I'm just giving you all, just throwing it out there. And of course, you could contact us. Feel free to contact us with any questions that you may have. Now, let me just move on to, I'll give Shannon Ray the floor. Shannon Ray is our very friendly mentor liaison. And right now she is going to give you all a short overview. I'll stop sharing my screen. And Shannon Ray will give you all a short overview of the challenge itself from the page, from the actual WiDS page. So Shannon Ray, you have the floor.
Okay, so are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Kaggle page for the Datathon. So I'll just point out some of the important things you guys might need to know, especially for those of you who weren't able to make it to the session yesterday. So firstly, you'll have to register for the Datathon, which you can find right here. And then you'll come back here and you'll see a button to click to join the challenge. So that's your first 2 steps. And here they just give you a quick background on the challenge, what it is and why it's important, and well, the sponsors of the challenge. Here you'll also see they have a page showing you, outlining some tutorials and resources. These are really good resources, especially for beginners. They're simple, easy to go through, and they'll give you a good starting place. Also important to note is the data page. They go through all the variables. Some of these variables might seem a little intimidating. You might not know what they are, but don't worry, they give you definitions of everything. They highlight what these things may mean. They might seem a little confusing at first, but everything is right here for you. And they also show you a sample of how you will submit your solution. So to just go back to the start a little bit, what they want you to do, as previously mentioned, is just to predict weather forecasting in terms of temperature and rainfall. So when you go through, you'll understand, but this is just, they literally outline everything for you, how you'll be able to submit it. And we will go through this in future sessions, in the tutorials with you guys. Next, there is a discussion board for those of you interested in maybe finding global team members. If you want to expand your team, here's a good place to look for that, as well as the leaderboard. This just shows you the position of people in the competition as well as your position. You can also join teams from here as well. And lastly, they also outline the rules. Important to note here is that you can submit multiple entries. As you see, some people have already submitted a bunch of entries. You can submit up to 15 entries a day. However, there will be only 2 entries can be submitted for final judging. And so there are a lot of things that you could do on the Kaggle page itself. You see there's a code tab here. You can also code on Kaggle and collaborate with your team members. But again, we will be going through that in a future session for you guys as well. So now I just want to go through some guidelines for participants as well as mentors. So, So as far as participants go, the team can be male or female, but there must be at least half the women making up the team. We also encourage you, especially for the beginners, to attend the tutorial sessions, which will happen on Saturdays, as well as to use the Slack workspace to chat with your team members and to share and access resources. For mentors, we do prefer if you have some kind of background in data, and you will be required to deliver interactive tutorial sessions, such as on Google Colab or in a Jupyter notebook for the participants. And these sessions don't have to be too long. They can be 1 hour to an hour and a half, inclusive of the Q&A, and they will be held on Zoom. And just to quickly go through some frequently asked questions about each type of session that we will be having, the first of which is a tutorial session. As I said, it'll be about an hour long, held on Zoom, and you will be sent any materials prior to the session. And this will just go through basic data science principles, such as prepping the data, cleaning the data, machine learning techniques, how to choose the best model, and so forth. Next, we do have office hour sessions. Now, it will be up to the individual mentors whether they want to have a set time during the week to have these sessions, or they want to do it like just come to them whenever they're available type of way. So you will have to, when you're assigned up, when your team is assigned a mentor, that will be finalized. And this is just to help you along with the competition if you have any problems. And lastly, there will be virtual workshops within the larger Women in Data Science organization. These will come in February, and they will just be building on the sessions that we would have had later this month. I believe Dr. Addison had some stuff to talk about here, so I'll pass it over to her.
Thanks so much, Shannon. She gave you a really concise idea of some of the guidelines that we have so far. Some of the events we have now, some of the times may be subject to change. However, this is what we have moving forward for you to have an idea of what we are providing. So, of course, today is our information session. And on the 14th of January, for the next 2 Saturdays, 14th and the 21st, we will have that introductory session on Kaggle itself and how to navigate Kaggle. We will give you a very interactive session where you will be doing hands-on activities along with the mentors, and you could feel free to ask any questions. As I said, it's beginner friendly, so it's not going to be overwhelming. And then the follow-up session to that is on the 21st at the same time. So it's going to be an introduction to machine learning and, of course, understanding how to predict from these specific models. So you have a very basic idea using some dummy data. Kaggle itself has its own little tutorial for those of you who are interested. It's called the Titanic data set. If you want to start looking at that before you jump in, I would really recommend it. And we will provide a link for you in the Slack channel so you can get a head start. Following that, on the 28th of January, that will be our open office hour session. So what we're really trying to achieve with our internal sessions in January is to make sure we have that startup process for persons who haven't interacted with data science in this way before. For persons who are a little more intermediate and advanced, you can feel free to jump into the dataset one time and liaise with our mentors in the process. We wouldn't do the team formations yet. We will speak more about team formations coming to the end of January. In terms of the global organization, you have to form teams if you want to be on a team by middle of February. So you have some time. But what I do recommend is everyone works together regardless of if you're on a team with specific persons, because we want to have that community spirit. And I can tell you from my experience in this competition, it's really great to kind of network with people, not only in our sphere in Trinidad, but regionally as well, and also globally. They also have a global Slack channel also, and we will provide you with the link from the session from yesterday, which is also available on YouTube for the Global WiDS Committee, the Global WiDS organization. So you can also connect with other persons abroad based on their channels. So that takes us from the kind of introductory aspects in January to get everybody on board. And in February, you would notice I have those sessions. We have them listed in a darker color. Those sessions are actually official sessions. And the stipulation in the official workshop sessions are they only presented by female speakers. So we have 2 speakers on February 4th to give you an introduction to the challenge again, and to go through Kaggle in one shot in a webinar type environment. So it would be less of a kind of a interactive in terms of like the original January workshops, but you will have some demonstration aspects. So you would actually see certain things kind of summarized from what we would have done in January in those sessions. And in the second follow-up session to that February 4th workshop, there's also a data science prediction methods webinar. So we have an international speaker, and we also have one of our mentors as well. She will be presenting alongside. So these sessions may repeat some of the information in January, but it will also be great for you to have the context from the international speakers who are also working in the field, so they can give you some insights into the area as well. For our purposes, we will also continue office hour sessions at the end of February on the Saturdays. And as Shannon mentioned, you can always meet with your teams at any other points in time, but feel free to meet with our mentors. You can contact them and let them know you're interested in going through anything with respect to the data set, any specific questions you have. I would also let you all know that even though this is a competition for a specific purpose, the role that we have here is really to bring awareness of the actual data science field. So you can ask any other questions. We are building a repository of resources so that you can feel supported in other ways in terms of like learning the field if you are really interested in understanding other aspects aside from what the competition is offering. In March, of course, the March 1st is the deadline for submission. So we will always keep you all up to date on those things. And post-datathon activities, which I had mentioned originally, some of the kind of more relaxed type of talks. We have a spotlight presentation on AI applications in agriculture in the Caribbean in March. And then we also have a fireside chat. So what's going to happen is on March the 8th, the global competition will, they will actually announce the winners for the global competition at the in-person conference in Stanford. In terms of our local chapter on March 11th, we will actually announce our local competitors and who topped our leaderboard in terms of our group. So I would like you all to, I know it's a lot, it's a lot in one mouthful, but I hope that you all are really excited about some of the activities that will be taking place. So let me just allow Shannon to complete the presentation, and then we'll take any other questions.
Okay, so lastly, I just wanted to talk about some guidelines for how to communicate effectively with your teammates and your members. So namely, just be mindful of the limitations of yourself, of your fellow teammates, and of your mentors. be mindful that everyone is taking time out of their busy schedules to work with you. So just be respectful and mindful of that. Communicate effectively and respectfully and in a timely manner with your teammates and mentors. Respect all participants despite any differences or biases. When you make contributions, suggestions, or have opinion or opposing ideas about the solutions you're coming up with, remember to do that in a respectful manner and share any resources or ideas amongst your teammates or with the wider community if you would like. Also, listen to feedback and suggestions from your mentors. And last but not least, maintain a high standard for honesty and integrity. And lastly, of course, although this is a Women in Data Science program, we do not in any way encourage any type of discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, gender, age, anything. So yeah, that's basically the guidelines for participants. So now I'll pass it back to Dr. Addison for the Q&A.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for that. So at this point in time, we're going to just invite you all to interact with us and let us know what you, your thoughts, your questions, anything that you are wondering about the competition. I would also recommend you visit our website, the widstt.org website, for further bios on each of our team members. If I didn't actually introduce myself before fully, because I was so taken up with talking about the members of the team, I am a project officer and a statistician at the University Office of Planning at the University of the West Indies. I'm also an adjunct lecturer in various faculties. So I teach statistics courses, and I'm also involved in a lot of statistical consulting. And I am very enthusiastic about bringing data science, the passion for that, because it really is, it leverages a lot on statistical knowledge also. And really kind of building that capacity, having persons get excited about it, learn about it, even if you feel overwhelmed. That's part of my passion for this team. So I'm really happy that you all were able to attend and be a part of, the process as we go along. So yes, anybody, the floor is open for any questions, anything that you jumps out at you, anything you want to ask. We also have FAQs as well on the website. Nothing from anyone so far. You could tell me in the chat. Yes, I see a hand. Feel free to put on your mic and go ahead, Faith.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Firstly, I want to say that I'm really excited and I'm glad to participate. And thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to know, like, where would the recordings for this session be posted?
So what we will do, we will try to post our recordings currently in the Slack channel, but eventually we will post them on a separate YouTube channel. So we will post, so anybody who's already signed up, and I thank you for the question, Faith. Persons who already signed up within the Slack channel, we'll post the recording for you all there. So if any other persons are interested in getting the recording currently, feel free to let them sign up with the information sheet. Rihanna will provide that in the chat with the call for participants. Right. For the sessions moving forward as well, we will see how it goes in terms of recording, but we encourage you all to come live to the sessions, particularly for the tutorials, because that's where you'd actually sit and be able to interact with the mentors as you go along, doing the different tutorials. But that's a great question. Thank you for that, Faith. Anyone else? Aidan is asking, do we need to provide code for each submission or just the data? And are we getting judged solely on the data? So Aidan, that's a very good question. So what you would do is, depending on what you are using, of course, the mentors will give you all an overview of that next week. If you're using Python or whatever coding, that you want to use, you don't need to provide a code. What's going to happen is, eventually you will have an Excel sheet with the predictions, and you will actually just have, if you would like, I can actually show you just a quick share. Oh, I think actually, no. Shannon Ray, could you share the screen again with the test set and solutions. Let's just show them the format. It's
Okay,
going to
no
be in a
problem.
CSV format. So Shannon Ray is going to share her screen and I'll just walk you through, Aidan, how it's going to look. For those of you who don't know what this is about yet, that's fine. You're going to actually submit it in, it's going to look like an Excel sheet basically. And you're going to have some target variable that you're predicting, and then you're going to have some predictions next to that target variable. So Shannon Ray is going to open the data set. That's the test data set. So what's going to happen in the end, we have a series of variables here, but in the end, sorry, Shannon Ray, can you click on sample solution at the top of that? This is what you're going to submit, Aidan. So you're going to have your sample solution, so you don't have to submit the code, if that clarifies your question. So you're going to actually have testing. So you're going to have a test data set and you're going to do your predictions there, and you're going to upload those sample solutions of those predictions. And you could upload 15 times a day if you want to, if you keep improving it. You could upload once if you want to, but I would recommend you all keep improving it with your mentors. They will help you to improve the predictions and show you how, right? Because we really want to kind of put ourselves on the map in terms of the leaderboard. Aidan, does that answer your question? Yes, it does. Okay, great. And if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us. That was a great question. Does anybody else have any burning questions? Anything at all? If it looks, does it look overwhelming? Does it look interesting? Let us know. We'd be happy to provide any insights. In the chat, Rihanna is providing all the relevant pages for you. So you can actually have a look at the international page as well. And feel free, this community is not just for the competition. So I would invite you all to, have persons who are also interested just to see what it's about, attend a tutorial session. It's all free. And we will give you a chance to think about if you want to continue on a team. I would highly recommend, even if you feel like I have no prior skills in this, I don't know what is happening, I would recommend that you still be a part of the process, because we really want to kind of build the motivation and the skills and the support. At the end of the day, we are in an industrial revolution, so we're working with data constantly. And no matter what field that you go into, you have to interact with data in some way. So anybody else has any questions for the team? Any comments? Faith is asking, later on when making submissions, will we be submitting as a group or an individual? Okay. So that's a good question, Faith. So you can decide in the end, when we have the call for team formation, if you want to be on a team or if you want to submit on your own. However, initially, everyone needs to sign up as an individual. So when you go on Kaggle, you will actually sign up for your own Kaggle name. And that's the Kaggle name you would be using moving forward when you actually go on the registration page that Rihanna has supplied here, the link for the official registration page. Now, what's going to happen is when you do form a team, you have the ability to form, you can have your own team name. My team was called the Wizards, WIDSARDS. So you can actually decide if you want to merge with another team. Say you were working in a pair and there's another pair of persons and you all want to merge, you can do all of those things by February, middle of February. So I hope that answers your question, Faith. Yes? Okay, great. Anyone else? Any comments? Any questions? Okay, well, yes, Aidan. Aidan said, are there any recommendations for tools, programming, scripts should be useful that we could start looking at now? Yes. Okay, so Aidan, what we will do is in the Slack channel, we'll have an extra channel. We create a channel where we will actually post some links for you all. I use R a lot. I know some people are also familiar with SPSS, but we'll try to actually show you how to code from scratch. You can use R. Aidan, are you familiar with automated machine learning tools as well? That's also possible, but we recommend you all start off with the programming tools. And as Shannon will show you all, Shannon, could you bring up again the page? I just want to show you all in the, yes. And Shankar is also recommending Julia, right? So you can also use Julia as well for those of you who know. Shannon, could you go to the discussion? There's code and then there's discussion. You can also click, if you want to click on anybody's link there. Let me see if anybody has, click on previous year's top solutions. you can click in the discussion boards and you could actually see persons have full coding there as well, Aidan. So anything that you're looking for, you could actually find they have persons who are actually discussing it there. And Shanre also mentioned before, they have recommendations in terms of different software. We can also recommend, there will also be some Deep Note. Deep Note also has notebooks. I think it's heavily based on Python though. But we will introduce you all to others, but we will kind of stick to probably things like Python and R for now. I will also let you all know that in addition to what we will provide, the international organization has a lot of material and resources as well that you can use, right? So Aidan, you have any specific tool that you wanted to use, or you're just trying to figure out at this point, right? Y'all, I like the questions so far, so you'll keep them coming. Any other questions for persons who have never been, I saw that a lot of you all were absolute beginners. No problem, Stefan, or Stephen, if I pronounce it correctly. Any absolute beginners who have any other questions or anything? So I think the majority of the team would be, a majority of the group so far would be persons kind of leveraging between beginners and some intermediate skills. So that's great. So we all learn from each other. So I think I have given you all as much I could from my end. I just want to open it up to my mentor team. Any of my mentors want to jump in and just give them Mercedes, Shankar, Rihanna, Shannon, Ray. Do you all want to just jump in and give them some motivation, some support before we end off? Shankar?
So in terms of motivation, I'm assuming most of the participants here are novice or like little experience with data analysis.
In terms of coding, yes. Probably
Well,
programming skills, yeah.
the good news is most of the methods we use and most of the, in my opinion, I think the most useful methods, they have relatively simple or naive approaches, and there are plethora of tools out there for anything related to machine learning or deep learning. There's a huge repository of information from TensorFlow where you can almost, there's like cookbook code. The reason I say Julia so much is because Julia is a bit more optimized for physics-based models, and there's more research in that area, and there's a lot of resources there. So in terms of barrier being, not having coding skill or analysis skill, there is ample information on the internet that you can use and just almost cookie cut and edit and understand the code. And I'm pretty sure either me or any of the mentors could always provide the guidance as to how to get your code to, alter and suit the problem at hand. So coding isn't really a challenge. I think the biggest challenge really is just facing the fact that this is your first foray into attacking a climate change problem, and it's really just the first time you did something. The first time is always the hardest, and right after the first 2-3 weeks after pushing through it, it'll be easier and get more manageable once you don't have the bias that it's hard because somebody says it's hard. As a person who's not that skilled in the field myself, it's really just moving past the initial facing the problem at hand, and it gets easier. Don't really have any kind of old bias in your head because you'll just be stopping yourself.
But thanks for that, Shankar. Anyone else wants to jump in? I see Navin said he's very excited. Thank you for that, Navin. Yes, I'm glad to hear you're very excited about the prediction problem. And climate change is really a current issue. So for you all to actually jump in and become, some data scientists yourself to really help to look at what really is happening. This is the part we are playing to actually improve what's going on in the world in terms of these social issues. Mercedes, Shannon, Ray, any thoughts? Rihanna, any motivation from our women?
I agree fully with what Shankar said. It can seem very overwhelming and intimidating, but there's so many resources out there, like Stack Overflow, even Reddit, all of these resources, ChatGPT is a new one. There's so many places that you could go to find information, so don't feel intimidated by it or overwhelmed.
Excellent. That's really good advice. Rihanna, Mercedes, anything before we end off?
Yeah, I'll jump in really quick. As
Good to hear,
somebody,
Stephen. Yes, Mercedes.
as someone who did not have a strong background in programming and computer science before coming into this, I would say it does seem intimidating at first, and maybe you feel a little less confident because you think that, you know, people might have more experience than you or more expertise. But I think having been in the program for more than a year now, you realize that it's a constant learning process. So even people who have had years of experience still need to learn, and there's still things that they don't know how to do, and they kind of, it's more like figuring out how to find a solution for the problem that you have, whether you're a beginner or years of experience. So I would say it's just a constant learning process, and don't be discouraged if you're a beginner.
Thank you. I mean, I'm really happy for that advice from all our mentors. Rihanna, last comment before we end it.
I definitely agree with Mercedes. Coming from a background that isn't in data science, I just want to stress on that point. And the fact that the tutorials that we're doing on Saturdays are specifically geared to beginners. So all of that should help and should give beginners some great material that they can learn from.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, and I do agree with everyone. I would like to let you all know that it's really, you have to walk before you run, as I like to say. So start small. And what we will provide is, if you find it's overwhelming, I mean, I will tell you, some of our team are actually self-taught. So they would have gone online and go through resources and actually spend time, you know, understanding, okay, what do I need to know to be able to be in, you know, in this field, you know, and to be able to work in industry and these types of things. Thank you, Keisha. She said it's very reassuring, right? Even from my years of experience as well, for more than 10 years in terms of like actually interacting with data, teaching courses, using programs and that sort of thing. I can tell you, I still Google, I still Google codes and these types of things. You don't have to feel like you have to reinvent the wheel in certain ways. You have a lot of support in terms of these programs. And that's why we wanted to bring this kind of community aspect. So we're going to help each other. We're going to reassure each other. Some of the material may be very new. It's going to feel strange. It's going to feel uncomfortable. I have gone through this myself, right? Some of you are going to feel intimidated. You might feel that, you know, you have an imposter syndrome. Some people may know more than me. I just want to dispel all of that. So as your ambassador, I really want to give you all that, pass the torch to you in terms of understanding that we are all here to support each other in this process. And we're really happy to have you all the interest, and we would like to extend the interest to others and have other people come on board and feel very comfortable in this environment that we don't know everything, but we're trying. Right? So that's my last word. If anybody else wants to jump in and see anything, I would, going once, going twice. So I would really, really like to thank you all for being a part of the session today, and really giving you ideas about what's going to be taking place in the next few weeks. And we really look forward to your participation. So thank you very much for being present, and have a great Saturday. You're welcome. Take care, everyone. You're most welcome, Stephen and Justin.